Hello everyone, my name is Melanie Vicedo, and I'm the Head of Education and Social Work Library Services here at the University of Southern California. This video will cover resources and services available to you as graduate students here at USC, accessing the library remotely or off campus. We'll define peer-reviewed or scholarly journals, and I'll talk about how to find them through the libraries, and useful sites and links to help you while you conduct research for your projects and dissertations here at USC. So the library provides access to many things. This includes research assistance. So I'm the education librarian, so you can contact me if you have any questions about accessing any resources or services. We also have online guides, and you're able to chat with a librarian online, and also email other librarians if you do have any questions. Of course, we have access to books and ebooks, subscriptions to thousands of peer-reviewed journals, which will come in handy when you're doing your research for your dissertations, streaming video, which includes documentaries, feature films, and clinical demos, access to trade publications, newspapers and magazines, and access to course reserves, which you may know as ARIES, and these are readings assigned by your professors. So now I'll talk about locating and accessing resources. So the library website is a great place to start and actually gives you access to all of our resources. So the URL is libraries.usc.edu. I always tell students to start here when conducting research or trying to access any resources through the library. So your USC card is your library card. As a graduate student, you can check out up to 200 items at a time for the whole semester. And your USC email username and password equals your USC Libraries username and password. So you can renew items online, you can access your course reserves, and you can access the resources from off campus, which includes thousands of databases. As I mentioned, off-campus and laptop access is available using your USC ID and password. So if you do go to the homepage of the library, you can select the login link at the top right corner. Again, this gives you access to all online resources like articles, databases, ebooks, and streaming videos. So the login screen or the login box will come up. You're probably going to be very familiar with this screen. And then after you log in, your name will appear on the top right corner. So that tells you that you're logged into the USC network. All right, so the library is a great resource for scholarly sources, or some of your professors may call it peer-reviewed journals, scholarly articles. So I just wanted to really quickly touch upon what scholarly sources are versus what popular sources are. So a lot of people are really familiar with popular sources. We see them almost daily. So these are some examples on the right: the New Yorker and Time Magazine. They provide facts or general information. They're there to inform and entertain. So the authors are usually journalists, or actually anyone from bloggers, or even certain authors where they would publish their stories or articles in one of these magazines or even online. So the audiences are the general public, and it's usually available to anyone, meaning you could get it through the internet freely, or you pay a subscription, a small subscription, or you could buy it from the grocery store or a newsstand. So scholarly sources, on the other hand, some examples are on the left: research in higher education and Review of Educational Research. These are two journals that publish education research. So the purpose of a scholarly source or a scholarly article is to demonstrate or prove a relationship between two issues or variables. So for example, do educational games help students learn math? The authors are usually researchers and scholars. These are your professors who conduct research, and they publish these articles to share their findings. And the audience, usually other researchers and scholars just like yourself, to help that research get out there and to build off that research and apply it in practice. So the availability is usually through university colleges and college libraries and university libraries. So where do you find scholarly sources? So as I mentioned, the library is the great resource for scholarly sources. So number one, you can find them within the library collections, and you can find them by using the search box on the library homepage. So you'll notice that it's right in the middle of the page. You can use it to locate journal articles, books, ebooks, newspaper articles, streaming videos, and archival materials. So you can search by title. So if you already have a title of an article or a book, you can look it up here. And, just a tip, if you are looking for an assigned book that your professor wants you to read for your class, you can look it up here by title. And if we have it as an ebook, you can access it right away. You can also search by topic. So this is where you type in your search terms and your keywords, and the items that pertain to those search terms will come up, like articles or books. Another source would be article databases. So these would include ERIC, PsycInfo, JSTOR, Web of Science. These are article databases where you can find research materials. So there is a curated page or guide specifically for education research. So the URL is on the screen, LibGuides, libguides.usc.edu /education. So the website, the USC Libraries website, it gives you access to all the resources that we have here at USC, all the library resources. So this guide on the screen actually is a curated guide specifically for education research. So this is a good place to go if you are want to look at education sources and specifically finding research materials. So if you select the Finding Research Materials tab, it will give you a list of recommended databases. And this is what that looks like. So on the right, it's the list of recommended databases like ERIC, Education Source, PsycInfo. And again, the URL is on the screen. And it is libguides.usc.edu /education. Another resource would be Google Scholar. So one great thing about Google Scholar here at USC is that it can connect to our journal subscriptions. So you can find articles through Google Scholar, and to get the full text of the article, it can be pretty seamless. You'll see a link to our subscriptions. So I do suggest accessing Google Scholar through the homepage of the library. There is a link right on the homepage. And another way you can connect the library, USC Libraries, to Google Scholar is by setting up your Scholar settings. So in order to set up your Scholar settings, I went to scholar.google.com. This is, again, another way you can connect to the USC Library subscriptions. So one thing that you could do is go to the homepage of Google Scholar, select the menu icon, and this will bring up a pop-up box. And then you'll select this little widget right up here, and then library links. And then you would type in University of Southern California. And hit search, and you'll notice that USC will come up, and that's the one that you want to select. It's that first one, USC, find it at USC. That's the important part. And then you'll select save. So that means that your settings are set. If you are logged into your Google account, it'll save it. But if not, you'll have to do this every time you log into Google Scholar. So make sure that you're logged into your Google account. Or again, you can always access Google Scholar from the homepage of the library, and this will ask you to log into the USC network, and then you will be connected to the USC Library subscriptions. So now that you know where to look for journal articles and finding research, I just want to talk quickly about developing search terms and keywords. So a lot of times we start off with a question that we want to answer, a question that we want to find information about. So for example, my question is, how effective are educational games with promoting learning in secondary education? So one of the things that you want to think about are the search terms or keywords are the main concepts of your language. So you wouldn't necessarily type in the entire question. You would pull out certain concepts and certain words. So think of concepts versus natural language. So for this question, I would select educational games, learning, and secondary education. Those are the things that I would type into the databases, into Google Scholar, into the search box of the library. And then once you have your search terms, I would write them down. Write down some synonyms or related terms for your keywords. And this will help you in searching for articles. And a lot of times authors are discussing the same things, but they're using different terminology. So searching for articles will help you find synonyms or related terms. So once you start searching, if you can't really think of other terms or other related terms, once you start searching, you'll start seeing other terms that you can use. So keep an eye on those. So for example, for the terms that I selected, educational games, learning and secondary education, these are some of the related terms that I would use. So educational games would be game-based, computer games, and gaming. Learning would be cognitive process, independent learning, and language learning. And secondary education would be secondary grades, high school, and grade 9. So I'm breaking up the whole large secondary education to even grades. And then once I have my search terms, I can use Boolean operators or connectors. So these are the words and or. So the word and, you could use this to connect two or more concepts. So this narrows your search. It gives you less results, but more specific. So I would use educational games and secondary education. You will only get the items that have those two concepts. And you'll notice I'm using quotation marks. So quotation marks you can use for phrases with two or more terms. So educational games, I would only get results that have that specific phrase in the article or the abstract or the title. So remember, that makes it very specific. So you can use it for phrases with two or more words. And the Boolean operator or connector or allows you to connect two or more similar concepts. So you could put synonyms together. This will broaden your search, and then this will give you more results. So if you're looking for articles on independent learning, you may want to include language learning as well, just to see what comes up. And this will give you a broader scope of results. So some tips for searching for scholarly articles or peer-reviewed articles. Sometimes your first search won't be the best, so it just gives you an opportunity to improve. Do and redo your searching. So like I said, keep an eye out for terms and concepts that you find on your results list. So use terms and concepts you find from your results to try new searches. So you may identify other terminology that authors are using to describe what you're looking for. Also use varying terms and combine them by using Boolean operators like and, or not to get good results. So, play around with some terms, use different combinations, and, if you do get to a point where you're not finding a lot, reach out to a librarian, reach out to me, or use our Ask a Librarian service. And we'll work with you to provide some search strategies. This next section will go over library services available to you. I've mentioned this before, as me being the subject librarian for education. So we do have subject librarians for all the departments and schools here at USC. This just means that we have a lot of knowledge about the programs and classes that are conducted in all the departments and schools, and we are familiar with the resources that each school and department needs for their research. So we have, for example, a data librarian, Amy Solis. We have Stacy Williams, who is our art and architecture librarian. And again, I work with education and social work. So you can get a list of the different librarians through the URL libguides.usc.edu. And each one of us has created guides specifically for our subjects. So just like the education guide, you could get a guide on, let's say, business or public policy, and this will point you to appropriate resources for those topics and subjects. Another service that we have is interlibrary loans. So you can obtain an article, book, DVD, and other materials not owned by the library from another library. So what you could do is request that book or DVD or even article, and if you can't find it in our collections, and then you can get it, we'll get it for you from another library and provide you that material or that item. We also have a service called Scan and Deliver. So you can receive a PDF of an article or book chapter available only in print. What we'll do is pull that book chapter or article, we'll scan it for you and email it to you. So if you are interested in a library book and you know that you only need one chapter from that book, we can scan that chapter and email you that chapter. You can also receive library books at your home address. All you have to do is request it through our Scan and Deliver service. So there is a link on the homepage of the library. Just select that link, and then you'll have to log in using your USC ID and password, just like logging into the USC network. So after your first login, you'll be asked to register, and under status, you'll have to register as a distance user. This will tell the Scan and Deliver department that you are not here on campus, and they'll deliver the book to your home address. We also give you access to ARIES or course reserves. So this provides you with assigned readings from your professors. So these are usually articles or book chapters. And then you can access course reserves from the homepage of the library. We also have online tutorials. So if you are, interested in kind of getting more of a handle on research skills, honing your research skills, honing research concepts, this is a good place to go. It covers research concepts and skills like evaluating information or conducting a search strategy. And the library also provides access to a citation manager. So citation managers are software that helps you organize your research. They save citations from databases or the web. They help you organize those citations into tags or folders. It helps you generate bibliographies. You could save documents and PDFs on the cloud through the citation manager. So if you haven't started already, you can find more information about the different managers available out there like RefWorks, Zotero, and Mendeley through the URL bit.ly/manage sites. So this will give you a comparison chart and just kind of break down the features that they have. And USC does provide free access to RefWorks. And this is a web-based citation manager. It has unlimited storage, and you can access it after you graduate. So to create a RefWorks account, go to refworks.proquest.com. You can use your USC email to create the account, and once you do that, you can get started with saving your citations and saving your documents. So that's the end of the video. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at my email address, visato@usc.edu. My phone number is also on the screen. And another way to get assistance and help is to go to the Ask a Librarian page. So once you select that, this will give you access to a few different ways to get help. So we have a frequently asked questions or FAQ that you can start searching. So it does give you, if you do have questions on interlibrary loan, for example, this will give you some answers to that. You can also send us an email. So this goes to a general email address where librarians take turns daily to answer those questions. You can contact us again. You can contact our reference desk. There are librarians that, again, take turns daily to answer these phone calls. You can have access to the list of subject librarians and then our library hours. Again, we also have a chat service, and the chat service is available anytime we have a librarian at the reference desk, and the chat hours are actually listed right here. So you do have many ways to access a librarian, access help. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you do have any questions. Thank you for viewing the video, and I wish you all the best in your research.